This is Times Drive and I'm Joel Pereira. Now, cars came relatively late for us in India, so our list of automotive icons is pretty short. Sure, we have a few like the Bajaj Chetak or the Hindustan Motors Ambassador or the Maruti 800, but I could argue that those aren't truly Indian. We all know that the Bajaj was essentially the Vespa Sprint, the Ambassador was the Morris Minor, and the 800, well, we just rebadged a small Japanese car. When I hear the words Indian automotive icon, the car that really comes to my mind is the Mahindra Scorpio. The best part is, it's still around, and the newest one is right here. Say hello to the all-new Scorpio, the second generation of one of the cars that created the idea of a luxury SUV in India. A car that could go anywhere and handle our roads, but with air conditioning and nice seats. The Scorpio is one of the most ubiquitous cars around, with a shape and form that everyone's familiar with, which is why it was time to change, to start afresh. The new Scorpio might share a body shell with the older model, which is why you might think of this car as an update. But according to Mahindra, nothing has carried forward from the outgoing car except the doors and the roof. Now, I was especially pumped to get behind the wheel of the new Scorpio because of some intense personal connections. Back in 2006, when the Scorpio was launched with the 2-liter CRD engines, I bought one. It was my first car, and 8 years later, I still have it, and I use it as often as I can. When I bought it all those years ago, it was perfect for me because, hey, it was my first car. But then my affection for my car papered over all its flaws, and trust me, the Scorpio had plenty. It could be quite terrifying at high speeds or around corners, and the gearbox was notchy and difficult to use when it was cold. The interiors were basic at best, and barely a year after I bought it, everything inside started rattling. So today I'm going to compare the new Scorpio with the old one. And having just said that the car is entirely new, what you're going to get under the hood is the same 2.2-liter M-Hawk engine that was also in the outgoing Scorpio as well as in the current XUV 500. Power output remains similar at about 120 bhp and 280 newtons of torque. But here's the new part. That terrible gearbox I was talking about in the older car, gone, replaced. Attached to that M-Hawk engine is a new gearbox. It's a vast improvement over the outgoing model. And with it, the ratios have changed a bit. What is nice about the Scorpio is that unless you're redlining it, you never feel like you're running out of power. There are no dead spots, especially at the low to mid range. It makes sense that Mahindra wouldn't bother changing anything about this engine because for us at least, this is the smoothest engine in the class. And if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Run out of juice at higher speeds, and for the Scorpio it's about 140 kilometers or so, which is when a warning chime pops in, reminding you that you're driving too fast. The transmission might be new, but here there is some room for improvement. It does feel a bit notchy. At some speeds the gear might be disobedient and need an extra bit of push. The clutch, though lighter than the older car, is still quite weighted, and driving it in medium speed traffic is not going to be a party. Now, where the new Scorpio has improved the most though is the ride and handling. With the old car, it was always the compromise. Nice looking car, powerful engine, terrible ride and worse handling. But now that's mostly gone because the chassis has changed. It's still ladder and frame, so you're going to get some of that residual body roll, but it's much stiffer, and no point does it feel like you're about to somersault off the asphalt. The overall specs have remained almost identical, but then the track, i.e. the horizontal area between the wheels, has become wider, so the car feels much more stable, especially out on the highway. The ride too has improved. The earlier Scorpio would bob and weave like a drunken infant on roads that were less than super smooth. But now with the new chassis and the suspension setup, the car is more sedan and less speedboat. Even 12 years after the launch of the first Scorpio, this car is still a big seller, and Mahindra wisely has decided, I think, not to change with the form too much. Where they have taken a leap though is the front of the car. And I didn't say leap forward because I still don't know whether I like it or not. Look at it. It looks like an angry Decepticon. It all looks very aggro, with the older, gentler fan-shaped grille replaced by something that honestly looks like knives. The new projector headlamps, again with a scowling LED eyebrow and a bumper that looks like it's hiding something. The sides are pretty much the same with the plastic cladding, but around the back, the reflective pillars are gone, replaced by these clear lens LED lamps. You've also got this black applique and a chrome box for the license plate, and again, I can't decide whether I like it or not. It does look very striking and modern, but also somewhat overwrought. Like they couldn't decide which bits they liked while designing it, so they just threw in everything. While the outside of the older Scorpio was still kind of presentable, the insides aged badly. When you got into the Scorpio, you knew that this was designed when there were new episodes of Friends every week. Which is why the new dashboard, steering wheel and door pads were long overdue. The rounded shapes everywhere are gone, replaced by meters and buttons with edges everywhere. The blue lighting scheme goes well with the grey interiors, and if you spring for the top-end model, which is what we have right now, you're also getting a touchscreen central console that features your stereo, parking assist and navigation. You're also getting a tire pressure and temperature gauge and climate control. What you're missing, however, is the storage space. You've got very few in the gear console and very little in the door. Definitely not enough to put in a bottle. They also wish Mahindra could have used some better plastics. The rear seats too have been redesigned, pushed further back and have become wider and longer, offering more comfort. It's also going to seat 5 adults quite nicely. Now Mahindra have goofed a little bit with the front door and the front seat. For one, the driver's seat has got 3-way adjustments, which is nice, and the door panel has got the window controls, which is also nice. The problem is though that the seat's so close to the door that you can't access the controls if the door is shut, which is a bit silly. Now I've spent about a week or so driving this car and I've really grown quite fond of it. Issues aside, it's one of those cars you just feel nice driving. As a long-time Scorpio owner, would I upgrade? To be honest, I haven't decided yet because the old car suits me just fine. Now the new Scorpio was launched just last week and you've got 6 variants to choose from, beginning at the super low-end 75 bhp S2 all the way up to the car we're driving right now, the fully loaded S10 version. Prices begin at 7.98 lakhs for the don't even bother about it super low version, going all the way to 11.46 lakhs for the fully loaded model, with 4 variants in between. It is cheaper than all the competition, still great value for money, and I expect to see many out on the road. Welcome back. Now Skoda has gone ahead and given the Rapid a midlife upgrade with refurbished interiors and an all-new transmission. Here's Abhishek Singh with the Skoda Rapid Black Edition.
So the bourgeois have their cars packed to the gills with bells and whistles. And in today's day and age, even the Joe Public car buyer wants some of those things in what he drives. So the good folks at Skoda Auto decided to take your garden variety sedan and make it look like this. Brings a smile to the face, doesn't it? Say hello, dear viewer, to the 2014 Skoda Rapid Black Edition. Now this car looks like a dream. Yes, it's a breakaway from what the customer Skoda had in mind for the Rapid would like, but it's pretty nonetheless. The Black Edition is offered only in the Elegance variant and it costs an extra 20 grand. It comes with blackened projector headlamps and fog lamps. The grille too is finished in black, as are the ORVMs and alloy wheels. There is also the option of going in for a blackened roof and black side foils from the dealer. The inside remains unchanged and comes with the same high quality interior with good fit and finish. The front and rear seats are comfortable with abundant space, and the wide rear bench can comfortably seat 3 people. The top end one we drove also had additional features like rear parking sensors, cruise control, a card holder and new design 15-inch alloy wheels. And while you're inside, there's also this, the 7-speed DSG dual clutch gearbox that Skoda is only offering with the diesel Rapid. With the addition of the new gearbox and the funky Black Edition package, the Rapid finally packs a punch which will make the competition take notice. Not to mention the Joe Public car buyer who wants bells and whistles in his car. Enough banter, let's drive. The new Rapid is powered by a downsized 1498cc engine which puts out 103 bhp and 250 Nm of torque. These are similar figures to the petrol versions of the Rapid, despite the fact that the engine capacity on the diesel is 100cc lower. The DSG Auto Box is always a great thing to have, but in the new Rapid,
The shifts border on sluggish, and that does not bode well for driving in traffic, which is where this car is going to spend most of its life.
Having said that, when you're out driving on the highway or on a nice open stretch of road, the Rapid makes up for what is lacking at slow speeds. And once the car settles in, it really is a joy to drive. There is turbo lag below 1800 RPM, but post that there's a huge surge of power, and the abrupt power delivery can make it difficult to drive smoothly. But one thing is for sure, overtaking in the new Skoda Rapid is quite easy, thanks to all the torque on offer. The suspension setup on the 2014 Rapid is retained from the outgoing version, which means that the ride is comfortable and has good all-round stability, which makes it great for long-distance cruising as well. You may feel especially large potholes thumping through to the cabin, and at high speeds there's a bit of bobbing over undulations, but it never gets uncomfortable. Handling is sharp and fun can be had at the wheel. The light but precise steering gives you a lot of confidence, but that must not be allowed to go unchecked.
The fuel tank of the new Rapid has a capacity of 55 litres, and when Skoda briefed us about this car earlier this morning, they told us that if driven efficiently, this car can do 1000 kilometers on a full tank of gas. And we've given you the fun fact. You can do the math.
Just kidding, I'd be out of a job if we didn't do the math for you. Especially this kind. So 1000 kilometers in 55 litres. That's approximately 18 kilometers to the litre, which as far as mileage of an automatic goes is bloody good. If you were to ask Sharma uncle who stays down the street whether he thinks automatics can be more frugal than stick shifts, we know he'd laugh in your face. But Skoda claims that their high-tech dual clutch variant guzzles less gas than the manual one, and we believe them for the most part. But then the DSG will come at a premium, and we put that at around 1 lakh above the price of the manual. So should you pay that premium? We say yes. And while you're at it, pay the extra 20 grand for the Black Edition package as well, and there's no need for aftermarket modifications. Saves you a lot of trouble.